You're listening to the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman, episode 40. Let's talk about success, shall we? Success on social media and what it looks like to you. In today's episode of the Small and Supercharged podcast, which is a solo with me, I want to talk about what success looks like to you on social media. How do you judge what's a success or a failure? Because in the day when people can get massive followings overnight if they pay for it, or sometimes if they produce absolutely incredible content that goes viral, it can be really easy to judge our own success in a way that isn't particularly helpful to us or our following or the way we mentally view it all. And I want to talk a little bit about factors that contribute to your success, different ways to judge success, and what success really, really means. So I thought, I used to do this at school, did you? If you ever had to do an essay or anything that revolved around a particular subject, you wanted to make sure you had the definition absolutely bang on so you didn't go off on a tangent. So I have gone to the Oxford English Dictionary online, oxforddictionaries.com, and looked at what success means. And it is simply the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. That's the first meaning. The second one is the attainment of fame, wealth, or social status. And that's interesting because thinking about social media, those two are very, very different things. I want to focus on the first point, the accomplishment of an aim or purpose, because hopefully if we have our aim, purpose, and goal really clear and we know what we're aiming for, we can judge our success based on that rather than the second point, which is fame, wealth, or social status, because really, they're not always in our control. And I really feel that point one is the way to go here. And if anything, that is going to lead you to point two. But let's really focus in. When we talk about success in this podcast, I'm talking about the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. So, what is the aim or purpose with your social media? That's the first thing to really, really think about, because if you're looking to judge your success, you need to know what you're judging it against. So with my social media platforms, I want to share the content I produce. I want to help small business owners. I want to help educate small business owners. I want to share cool things that I do. I want to talk about my clients. My overall goal, I run a business. It's to help people get excited about what I'm doing. Maybe they want to listen to my podcast. I love that. That really makes my day, actually. Maybe they want to join my Small and Supercharged group. Maybe they want to join my mastermind group. Maybe they want to be a client. So they are kind of the deeper goals. But generally with my social media platforms, I am using it as a promotional platform to share me with potential clients, with people who might be interested in what I have to say. And I'm also helping to educate them, because if we all become more educated and we understand what's going on, the world will be a better place. Knowledge really is power. And I spend an obscene amount of time learning, reading, trying, testing things. And if I can share those with you, it's going to help you. And more than that, it's helping my clients, because I can use them as case studies to share something really cool that they've done with you. And it's all working for the right cause. So my aim or purpose is to grow my presence, I guess. And that has allowed me to get better opportunities to work with incredible people. It's really gone well. But if I only focused on the number of followers I had, my account isn't as successful as other people's. But for me, my account is hugely successful because it achieves all my goals and objectives. Does that make sense? So what I'm trying to say is, before we delve any deeper, think about really why are you on social media? What do you want to do? If it's just that you want to share what you're doing with people, and that's a really good goal to have, then the way you judge success is probably going to be different to if someone is there purely to sell product, which is a very different animal. So think about why you're there, because that is going to really help you to establish if your account's been a success, and therefore what you can do to make it more of a success. So one way that some people judge success on social media is by the number of fans or followers they have. Please don't do this on its own. Obviously, we all want to have really good followings, and I keep saying this, I know I do. We all want to have really good followings, we want to have lovely, big, engaged followings, but those two are not always the same. You can have a big following you can have an engaged following, you can have both. Both is what we want, but the way to build both is by focusing on the engagement and the quality rather than chasing the number, because the number will come if you get the engagement and the quality there. And more than that, getting the engagement and quality there is going to align much better with any of your goals than just getting a big number, unless your goal is just to have a load of followers that don't care about you, in which case this podcast may not be for you. Because I want to help you grow good social media followings that are going to help support your aim, mission and purpose. So if you have 100 followers and they are all interested and invested in you and your message, you want to spread your message, that's your goal. You want to spread a really positive message, I don't know, let's say positive mindset, positivity, and you've got 100 people that are hanging on your every post that really care, that like, that comment, that share, that spread that joy. You are flipping winning at life. You really are. Even if you have just, I'm using the air bunnies, inverted commas, 100 followers. That is success. If you had 100,000 followers, but nobody cared about what you were saying, you didn't get the likes, you didn't get the comments, that's not helping you reach your goal. That's boosting your ego. And we need to be really careful we don't get the two confused. Obviously, the aim is to have 100,000 and more engaged followers that really care. But what I'm saying is the number alone is misleading. You'll see that sometimes, particularly on Instagram, numbers fluctuate a huge amount if spam accounts get deleted or you have people that follow you just to get that follow back. And then if you are pinning your kind of self-worth and everything on this number that actually can fluctuate as the wind changes, or if you have people that aren't really using social media correctly, that's going to be really damaging for you. It's a figure that can make us feel big and important, but it doesn't relate to the success of what we are doing unless the only thing is to build a big account. What is a much better judge is engagement. Now, there are lots of different ways to work out engagement rates. I have been reading about this. I'm just going to go simple because maths isn't really my forte. So you can do this in lots of different ways. You can look at a lot of your posts, or you can pick a high performing post or a low performing post, and you can work out your percentage engagement rate. This is actually quite a simple sum. And if I'm saying that, it really is. So what you do is you look at your total number of engagements. So likes, it works with either likes and comments. Then you divide that number by the total number of followers you have, and then you times it by 100. So I had a post not that long ago, well, this week, that had 176 likes. So I'm going to add 176 plus 34 for the comments, which gives me a total of 210. At the time of recording this, my account has 3,786 followers. So I'm going to divide that number by 3,786 followers. And then I'm going to times that number by 100. And that has brought me to a percentage of 5.5%. Now, on Instagram, according to Scrunch, this is the website I found for these measurements, but I have looked at a few others and they are very, very similar. If you have less than 1% engagement on a post, that's low. If you're between 1 and 3.5, that's average to good. If you have 3.5 to 6%, that's high. And if you have over 6%, that's a very high engagement rate on Instagram. With Facebook, it's actually much, much lower. And anything over 1% is deemed as good. And actually, if you think about, go and have a look at some Facebook pages and some Instagram accounts, you'll see that the likes are a completely different animal. Facebook isn't the platform that Instagram is. It doesn't work in the same way. It seems much more complicated. There's many more options, and that can have an impact on engagement rates. Also, just looking at your insights, you can see the reach your posts have had. You can see how many people have liked, how many people have commented. If you go into the insights on Instagram, you can rank your post by biggest engagement, amount of followers, likes. There's a few different metrics. And obviously, if you go into your Facebook business page, you can look at the reach and the engagement you've had on your post. And again, that's really, really useful. That's a useful statistic because that's showing you whether what you're putting out there is of interest to your fans and followers. And that is a mark of success. So thinking back to our accomplishment of an aim or a purpose, if it's to spread your message and get more people seeing it, the higher the engagement rate, the more people have actually cared about what you're saying. And often the engagement rate and the reach are very closely aligned, and you can see that one has helped the other. Also on things like Instagram, if you have that really good engagement, it's much more likely that your content is going to be made more visible to more people, because we know the algorithm doesn't show your content to everybody that follows you. And that's really key too. So the better your engagement, especially initially when a post goes up, the better your reach is likely to be. And the two seem really intrinsically linked with any research or anything I've listened to. So that's a really, really good judge of success. If you're looking to spread your word, if you're using social media for any reason where you want what you do to be seen, and if not, I don't know quite why social media is your desired place to hang out, that's a really good metric. That's a really good judge of success. And, if you like data, it's right up your alley. But now let's move through to other things that maybe you can't quite do a sum for, but you probably could. I'm not known for my sum skills. So connections. Social media is the most incredible place to form connections, to form friendships, and even business leads and opportunities. So I regularly have DMs from people who want to work with me, who have seen some of my content, who have heard something I've said, who have watched a Facebook Live, who have an Instagram Live, Facebook Live, have a question to ask me. And they end up in my DMs very regularly. Sometimes people post and comment on my posts, and then I have the chance to answer their questions and help them further. But often I get DMs or emails saying, I saw your post about, I watched your live about, I heard your podcast about. And this is the way you're going to build up genuine connections. So from my point of view, this might be somebody who becomes a customer. It might be somebody who joins a Swanner Supercharge group. It might be somebody who becomes a mastermind client. It might be somebody who has got a really good opportunity for one of my clients. It might be somebody that wants to collaborate with me on something that's really cool. There are lots of different ways that these connections can be hugely valuable, and they're not always in the most obvious way. I think sometimes when we are so focused on business, we don't always see the huge value that the friendships that we can make on social media has, but they can be massive. I have made some incredible friends through social media. Clients that have become friends that have become clients, people that I would happily go for a drink with, people I've literally shared rooms with when, don't panic, it's not that exciting. When we do the Hi Ho and Co Day, I always share a room with Ruth now, it seems. So, but that's great. I met Ruth through social media, oh my God, years and years ago. And I had the absolute joy of working with her as well. But she's an incredible friend. So to me, that is an amazing success. I have met some lifelong friends through social media that I may not have met without it, or I may have met in different ways. So that is a massive way to judge your success, because you're making real connections that are enriching your life, helping your fans and followers, growing your business if that's what you want to do, helping you fulfill your dreams. That's a really big metric for success that isn't necessarily something you can write on paper, but the connections we make through social media can be so valuable and better than an engagement rate, because an engagement rate doesn't take into account the DMs and the value that those people add to your lives. So connections can be a massive way to measure success on social. Don't underestimate that. Now, the other thing I mentioned a little bit was opportunities. So opportunities through these connections. So through opportunities on social media, you see people become brand ambassadors, become sponsored, become invited to events to take part, to get paid to be essentially press at events, because the content they're putting out is so good and so valuable. And these opportunities wouldn't necessarily have come about without social media, because it's a real showcase. Your feeds on Facebook or Instagram particularly can be an amazing showcase of what you can do and the skills you have and how you present yourself, how you talk, how you look, if it's something that's like modeling, for example. All these things. So it can be opportunities like that. It can be collaborations, because again, people have seen you in action. And I know I covered this a little bit with the business side of things and the connections. But opportunities and collaborations are incredible, and it's such a huge success, can be a massive success, can catapult you and your business and your Instagram and your Facebook account into the stratosphere. But you might not, that is maybe not something that you can measure as a metric, because that's one person that contacted you. But that one person who maybe liked your post and commented, which would be, if only one person liked and commented, your engagement might be really low on that post. But actually what you've achieved together is insane. So that can be a really great measure of success. The opportunities that social media provides us, the connections that you make, where this can lead you. So don't underestimate that. Opportunities can be brilliant on social media, in addition to the friendships. Another thing I want to talk about is the opportunities of competitions. So again, maybe you win something on social media. If you are looking, again, it depends on the way you're measuring success. And if one of those is to work with more brands, get product to test, get product for free, competitions can be a really valuable way to do that, and can also be a really useful metric for you to measure, because you have the free stuff or you've been able to offer the free stuff. So with competitions, these can be a great way to grow your social following, and I will be doing a podcast all about competitions very, very soon. But this can be another really good way of being successful, because you can look at your entries. So you can do the engagement rate numbers and sums on a competition post. Personally, I don't think it's as valuable, because it's not a general post. You're asking people, usually if you're on Instagram, you're probably asking them to like and tag. And if you're on Facebook, you're probably asking them to like and comment. So your engagement rate should be much, much higher, but it's not the same kind of engagement. But you can judge the success of a competition against the success of another competition. And that can be a way to measure your success, measure whether you've hit the nail on the head, you've got the right combination of product, prizes, promotion, all the P's apparently today. That can be a way to measure success. It just depends on what your aim or purpose for your social media accounts is. So there are some key ways there that you can measure success and how you can judge your social media success. The thing is, don't compare what you do on social media to what anybody else does on social media, because you're not the same animal. You're not the same person. You haven't been on the same journey. You're not posting the same pictures. If you're posting identical pictures, there's a copyright issue going on there, because you're a different person. You probably started your journey at a different time. You have got different likes and interests. You've got a different story that helped you get to this point today. You have different things you're passionate about. You like different clothes. You style yourself in a different way. You have different hobbies and interests. You cannot compare your journeys. It's not right to for anybody, for either of you, to compare your journeys, because you think, well, she's doing so well. It depends on actually what they're measuring their success on. And all that's going to do is make you feel bad that you're not doing that. So be pleased for their success. Be pleased that they've grown their account, or they've got some really good opportunities in. Be pleased for that. Don't think, and therefore I'm rubbish because I haven't. Because actually, there's a really, really good quote. I was listening to this book this morning on my iPhone. It was on Audible. It was Rachel Hollis. It was Girls Stop Apologising. Got there in the end. And she said, the only person you need to be better than is the one you were yesterday. And if that quote could have been written for social media, it's just perfect. So don't think, well, she's got 20,000 followers and I've only got 2, therefore I'm rubbish. You don't know anything about her journey. You don't know how she got to where she's got to do. You don't know what lucky breaks she's had. Well, I say lucky. I'm not really quite convinced on luck as a concept, but that's a different podcast. You don't know what opportunities she's had. You don't know you don't know about her followers. You don't know what opportunities she's taken forward. You don't know her journey. You don't know her story or her passion or her interests. And you comparing your journey to hers, it's not fair on either of you. So you focus on you. You keep your objectives and your aim and your purpose in the front of your mind, and look to improve the things that you have control over. Your the way that you judge success might be different to the ways that I've described. And I would absolutely love to know how you judge your success on social media. It's important that you know what you're aiming for. It's important that you achieve your goals. But make sure that you are basing all this on stuff you have some control over and stuff that actually matters, not just the big old number under your name. I hope that podcast has helped you, because I think it's really important to just get really clear what success looks like to us, and therefore how we can influence it and how we can know when we've done well. If you have listened to this podcast, please take a screenshot and post it on your social media. I'm really good on Instagram stories. I love Instagram stories. So please post it and tag me. I'm at Ria Freeman PR there. I'd love to know if you're listening. I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to know how you judge your success on social media. It's all good to hear. And obviously, if you'd like to come and join the Small and Supercharged group, the free Facebook group this very podcast is named after, you'd be very, very welcome. Just search Small and Supercharged on Facebook and answer the questions for me, please, because I tend not to let people in without the questions being answered. And I would love to see you in there. So that is it for this week. Bit deep, but good subject. And I hope to catch you next week too.